Hi and welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're talking about my thoughts on House of the Dragon so far, so the first 5 episodes before the major time jump, before they switch actors and actresses. And this video has actually been a while in the making. I actually did make a video about my thoughts on the first episode of House of the Dragon, and it was like 23 minutes long. Some of the best editing of my life was put into that thing. I edited it for like 14 hours. It was so beautiful by the end. I brought receipts and it was well executed and everything, only for me to upload it, and YouTube was like, oh, you want to post this? Well, you have too many clips from the show in this video. HBO's gonna sue you. We're gonna copyright claim you. You can't post this. You can't, bestie. Paraphrasing. I'm kidding, they didn't say that. It was an automatic response, but anyways, I couldn't post it. Otherwise, issues would arise that I would not be particularly inclined to deal with. As if HBO would even click on my video. I get like 100 views per video. It's not anything fancy. But anyways, then I saw a comment, and I think it was my latest video about Rhaegar Targaryen, and I can't remember the user, but they said that they would like my opinions on the first 5 episodes of House of the Dragon, and then maybe a video on my thoughts on the last 5 episodes after the time jump. Here we are, and this video is me going off on a tangent about the most obvious things that I noticed, and it is severely unplanned, and I brought no receipts. So take it with the hugest grain of salt. This is just my opinion on the show. So let's get right into it. So straight off the bat, I loved seeing the opening scene to the first episodes and then the nod to Daenerys in Game of Thrones. It was a really nice touch. And when I saw that text fade out and it was like 172 years before Daenerys Targaryen, I was like, stop. I haven't recovered. The dagger is still in my back. How dare you make me think of her? How dare you? And, I was distraught. But moving on, I love the actresses to young Rhaenyra and Alicent, Emily and Millie. Well, I love them all, to be fair, but however, before we get into that, I want to say that HBO and the executive producers and even George R. Martin have made some creative decisions that I'm not the biggest fan of, like, example, giving some characters young and older actors depending on the time period, while others just remain stagnant, like Viserys remains stagnant, Rhaenys remains stagnant, Corlys remains stagnant, Daemon remains stagnant, but Daemon's just toxic, so no wonder he doesn't age. He's got too much toxicity in him. It keeps him young. But jokes aside, not just that, canonically Alicent is supposed to be 9 years older than Rhaenyra. They wouldn't have had that buddy-buddy sister-like relationship like we see in the show. Don't get me wrong, I like it. It fleshes out conflict and it gives Alicent more of a quote-unquote tender humanity than just being reduced to an upstart. It makes her betrayal to Rhaenyra all the more severe, but there's no consistency to the characters who've been aged up and down. They do it a bit left and right, and I'll explain further on, but it's just not my thing. It's just not my cup of tea. I would have rather they stuck to the timelines and didn't make it so confusing by aging people up and down without consistency. Continuing on that note, Viserys canonically is supposed to be like 24 when he ascends the throne. Rhaenys is supposed to be 27, and Emma was a girl of 15 when she had Rhaenyra, and I reckon she was like 13 when she married Viserys. And I understand that this might not have been the prettiest thing to see or know, but we would have had to see it. We would have needed to see it to understand, to see such sadness intermingled with youth, to see them stupid, to see them vulnerable. They're too solidified. In the Great Council scene, they appear too matured. They're not. If you give certain characters 2 sets of actors, give them all 2 sets of actors, so as to not confuse the audiences, so as to not have them all remain stagnant. And as you all will come to see, my main issues are with the timelines and the ages of the characters. House of the Dragon is wilding when they age people up and down, left, right, and goddamn center. Rhaenyra and Daemon are being treated like a love story when she was really around 8 when named to the throne and her uncle's grooming began. And I understand that they wanted to age her up a little, but that's also the issue. They're rushing. It's not a bad rushing. I mean, it's a concrete rushing, but it's rushing nonetheless. They're not allowing us to properly bond with the side characters. They're not allowing us to form proper attachments. Like, for example, Joffrey. I felt really kind of nothing when he died, because I felt more in the books. I feel like it was fleshed out a bit more than it was in the show. Like, we met Joffrey in the one episode and he kissed Laenor, and then it was like he was dead on the floor, and I was like, bro, we could have fleshed this out a bit. And that wasn't even when he was supposed to have died. He was supposed to have died at a tourney. But that's my point. They're not allowing us to form proper attachments, so we can't really get emotionally involved with these characters except the mains. They're not allowing the side characters to exist beyond the mains and to have substance beyond the mains. It's not fleshed out enough is my issue. I want to see Laenor and Rhaenyra navigate their marriage. I want to see Daemon and Laena come into theirs. We're not allowed this here, and it makes me sad because I wanted to see it for so many years. We don't have to get to the war in one season. I don't understand what's the rush. We all knew that it was going to be the biggest show of the year. We all knew that it was going to be renewed, or at least I did. I thought it was kind of obvious because it was so big and so close to Game of Thrones. So there's like no point for the rush. They could have had Rhaenyra's wedding at the end of season 1, proceed to season 2 with the conflicts of the strong children and all of the other shit that went on around the same time, because there was a lot of shit going on at the same time. And then they could have had Viserys die at the end of season 2 and have season 3 be the beginning of death and war. I mean, at least that's my straight off the bat view on it. They didn't have to put it all into one season. All my complaints aside though, it's a beautiful show and there's no denying that. Everyone's giving their best performances. The vibe is so reminiscent of Game of Thrones while not being a replica of it. Millie Alcock, Matt Smith, Eve Best, Steve Jason, Emma Darcy, Olivia Cook, they were breathtaking, all of them. I knew that they do amazing. I had the utmost hope. And the dragons are gorgeous and unique, and I'm in love. And you can tell the difference between all of them. You can notice their differing sounds. And the Dragon Keepers were such a nice touch. But as for Sonoya, she's bodying Mysaria, no joke. But she has to lay off that weird rendition of a mysterious accent that she's doing. It's horrible, I'm sorry. She's so perfect, but then she delivers her lines and it seems almost cartoonish. The overlay is horrible and you can see she's straining to do it, and it impacts her acting. I wish she just kept her British accent because it wouldn't have been implausible for Mysaria to have been raised by people who knew the common tongue of Westeros. Even in Lys, Westerosi were frequent travelers. My point is, that could have been the explanation if someone decided to complain or whine that she didn't sound foreign enough. It would have just been better. I feel like the actress would have been able to do better with her natural accent than she did with the one that she created or they created or whatever, I don't really know. But otherwise, she has the perfect look and the perfect mannerisms for Mysaria. Perfect. Loved it. But it's just, I talked to my friends about it as well, and they were like, no, I can't focus when she's talking. Anyways, that's all I have to say for now, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who do you swear your allegiance to? The Greens or the Blacks? Let me know. And have a nice day. Bye.